Rockabye baby, in the treetops. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. When the bough breaks, the cradle will fall, and down will come baby, cradle and all. Maybe you've never stopped to think about that particular lullaby and how menacing it is, or maybe you've long been haunted by the 17th century ditty about a cradle precariously hung in the boughs of a tree and then the wind's tipping it over onto the ground, baby and all. Well, guess what? You are not alone. In countries throughout the world, there are a ton of creepy and morbid undertones to the lyrics we sing softly into the ears of newborns. In fact, one of the earliest recorded lullabies is from 2000 BC, and it's inscribed on a clay tablet and Babylonian cuneiform script, and it basically says, hey baby, if you're gonna disturb the house god with all your crying, oh hey, you're gonna get eaten by that house god if you don't stop with the waterworks. Now, a lullaby sung by the Luo people in Western Kenya contains the lyrics, rock rock, the baby who cries will be eaten by a hyena. And stuff to blow your mind listener K-Stone snapped this photo of an Obijiwa lullaby in the museum in Winnipeg. Beware the naked bear! So, what's up with filling the ear holes of the young with images of being torn asunder by animals or an apparition hanging out in the house ready to eat you? Well, let's face it, life is hard, and for our ancestors, it was even less of a cakewalk. You know, we take for granted the fact that we're no longer part of the food chain, but for millennia, humans, particularly the tiny, vulnerable humans, had to watch out for the hyenas, the naked bears, and really any other threat lurking in the background. Mom and Dad were just doing their job, telling the little one the ills of the world in a soothing tone, which is kind of a nice way to break the news that life can get super sucky. In fact, Zoe Palmer, a musician working on a lullabies project at the Royal London Hospital, says that wherever you go in the world, women use the same tones, the same sort of way of singing to their babies. And you'll find that lullabies are usually in triple meter or 6/8 time, which gives them a kind of rocking motion, a soothing effect. So much so that a 2013 study published in the Psychology of Music journal showed that lullabies have a really beneficial effect on newborns and young children with cardiac or respiratory conditions. Now, the patients were between the ages of 7 days and 4 years old, and each child was involved in 3 10-minute sessions. We're talking about lullaby singing, story reading, and a third control session with absolutely no interaction. And their physiological responses and perceived pain levels were measured before and after each session. Those with lullaby sessions showed a reduction in heart rate and pain levels. Moreover, a study published online in Pediatrics in 2013 that detailed premature babies in 11 different NICUs around the country found that lullaby therapy helped to increase feeding behaviors, which is incredibly important for preemies whose muscle reflexes are really underdeveloped. So perhaps we should all be using a little lullaby therapy for ourselves, and maybe that's the explanation for why we sometimes gravitate toward tranquil music with a rocking cadence, albeit without all the creepy and morbid lyrics. Hey baby, there's the internet, it's scary, be wary, there's all sorts of things. All right, that's my attempt at making up a lullaby. Can you do better? I would love to know what sort of lullaby is percolating in your head and what sort of modern ills of the world we need to warn the youngins about. Let us know in the comments below, and to keep the videos coming, make sure to subscribe.